What up, y'all? Welcome to another, for me, very special edition of the Independent Living Podcast. This is where you come and hear straight from artists themselves, how they're moving, how they're building their business. These are artists that are moving and shaking independently. It's great that we can build our business in so many different ways. That's the cool thing about today. But today we got my guy, Ollie Joseph, in the building. What's up with you?
I'm happy to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
This is my dog. I've seen the rise over the past few years. I tried to get him on the second 1 week notice project. Unfortunately, he had a full-time job at the time, so he couldn't make the commitment. But we've definitely stayed in touch since then, and I've seen his progression just continue. He just continues to rise and rise and rise. But how you feeling? How you feeling this week?
I'm feeling good, man. It's a little hot here in Nashville, but it's supposed to cool down next week, so trying to get as much outside time in and work on music as much as I can, but I'm feeling good. It's a good week so far.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're doing well on Spotify. You're doing like 700,000 monthly listeners plus. But who is Ollie Joseph? If someone say, hey, who is the artist Ollie Joseph? And describe your music for the people that may not be familiar.
All right, I'll answer the who is Ollie Joseph part first. Son, a brother, a boyfriend, just someone who I love traveling. I was born and raised in Japan, so not from the United States initially, but I grew up here and there as well. So I would like to say I'm a worldly individual that just likes to learn and try new things. And right now, music is the new thing that I've been pursuing over the past 7 or 8 years, and it still feels new and fun to me. So I'm a musician, and yeah, just someone who likes to. Am I allowed to curse on here?
Yeah.
I just like to do cool shit and have a fun time. Have a fun time doing it. And when it comes to describing the music, traditionally I was making more hip hop, rap music. But over the past 2 years, I've kind of set off and tried to start my own genre. I call it mountain pop. It's basically a blend of pop rap with some country infused elements. I'm not a country artist. I'm not trying to do the country thing at all, even though I get love from them and they support me. I support them. It's a symbiotic relationship. Really focus on cultivating the mountain pop sound, which is just mainly kind of feel good pop rap songs with some twangier guitar elements infused in there. And most of the time, trap drums.
Dope. Hey man, you got to embrace the people that embrace you as an artist, man. You got to collect fans where you can get them. So if there is a community that's rocking with your music, hug them back because.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm rocking with them and they're rocking with me. So, I think sometimes people can get it misconstrued, like because country is like the new cool thing to do, and it's like, oh, yeah. I think he's doing that now. It's like, no, you can go back to. I was on a country song in 2018, 2020. I started doing this in 2021, so I've been at it for a little bit now.
Hey, I would just say block that out. There's always a loud minority online that sometimes gets independent artists, it knocks them off their square. Like they listen to the loud minority instead of the majority of their fans that really love and appreciate what they're doing. But there'll be a few random people that come out the woodwork and it knocks them off your square because sometimes comments can get to you. Like if just being honest, I mean, yeah, of course, you mature and get to a point where, certain things, but like even myself, like, but if you say certain things about certain people in my life, it's probably going to get to me. Something's going to get to me.
For sure. It's wild. I always say the comment section is the ultimate test. And thankfully, mine is majority positive. But once in a while, maybe a negative comment slips in there. But it's wild how you want to give that attention opposed to all the positive comments. And I try and reply to every comment, every DM I get. But it's funny. I posted something on YouTube the other day, like a YouTube short. And there were a couple positive comments, and then some guy dropped just a straight up 2 words, "This sucks." And I that just made me laugh, dude. And I was like, honestly, I love this comment.
Hey, you can't please everyone because even if you got a lot of love, like there'll be somebody that will just be mad that you got that much love and has to give you a negative. So it's impossible to get like all love all the time.
I need that.
Why? You need that. Like typically the more polarizing artists, like scale quicker, right?
Hmm.
Because in terms of how these algorithms work these days, like it really just adds to the comments,
Yeah,
right?
it's a conversation starter too. Then you got people jumping in defending you, and then they're
Like,
going back and forth, and you never know, man. That person could just be looking to start some shit, or could have been having a bad day, or maybe they don't like it. And I think that's the beauty of music. It's all subjective. What you think is a hit song, I could be like, who the fuck is listening to this? But
right.
it also could be the opposite too. But it doesn't take away from that being a good song to that person, or maybe not the hottest song to the other guy.
Yeah. So as an independent artist, I talked about in the intro, like, successful independent artists could have like totally different businesses in terms of how it breaks down, like from a revenue perspective. Now, I would never ask an independent artist like how much money they're making on this podcast unless they wanted to share. But how does your business break down in terms of where does your revenue come from? Like X% streams, X% merch, like what does your business look like?
So I think I kind of did it backwards when it comes to most artists making money off of touring, merch, maybe doing features, maybe appearances if you're in the hip hop section. And then streaming usually comes towards the end because it kind of takes a while for you to see livable money from streaming because it's not a get rich quick scheme by any means. You got to be doing this and have a catalog and a couple songs that are really pumping for you to make like a livable money off of this. But thankfully, I'd say, man, if I was to put it in a pie chart, I would say like 80 to 85% of my money comes, or my overall income comes from streaming. And it's I do have a couple songs that do insanely well just from the algorithm, and they're the hip hop songs that are. I think my best one I put out in 2019, early 2019. So that song's a little over 5 years old, and it's still my. I mean, it's only growing for the most part, and it does about. And people can do the math if you know how to see like what a song's making, and like the I think Spotify pays like 0.0034 cents per stream. That song's getting on average like 21,000 streams a day. And this
Nah.
isn't anything that we didn't like pay for playlisting with it. We didn't do any sketchy shit. It's all organic. Um, I use a company called Artlist, which I definitely encourage artists if you're in and around, a reputable level, you can apply for an Artlist profile and submit songs to them. I think they have an insane backlog right now, but I did that in 2021 and that helped me out a ton. And Artlist is basically a music syncing service for content creators. You're not going to get in movies or actual commercials on TV or anything, but it's for YouTube creators to be able to use royalty free music, but quality royalty free music. So they might not be able to use a Drake, but they could use a me. And so I had a couple big YouTubers use a few of my songs. And even about a couple months ago, a huge Call of Duty team called the Toronto Ultra. I think they won whatever the Call of Duty championship is, but over like 100,000 people were tuned into this thing, and they use their hype song. Their hype video is like 45 seconds long, and they use two of my songs. And you could
Dope.
just see the streams go right from
Dope.
that. So,
That's game right there. Like, and that's a lot of times when there's something that works, like it doesn't work for long because as soon as people find out about it, like it's like oversaturated. And this still in the art list, I actually haven't heard of it, so I'm gonna check it out after this podcast. I haven't heard of it, so they probably are still doing their same thing, but just in terms of like people are starting probably finding out about it. Like you said, they have probably a backlist of applications or songs. Now there's more competition on their platform. So I'm not saying their platform doesn't work anymore, but there's more competition on that platform, more people wanting to get in. So it lessens the chance of possibly getting placements. But that's dope, man. A lot of people. So matter of fact, Logic, if I remember correctly, like in gaming and YouTube gaming, like that's how he got his start. Uh,
yeah,
but when you said stream, like this is normal, like for people and this is why I always get into arguments, even on the Music Entrepreneur Club and on Twitter, is because people don't understand that the opportunity in streaming and kind of that there's artists actually making money. Just because there's so many artists not making money, like most artists don't make money. So when people say that, it's easy for people to like piggyback that opinion because they've never seen money in streaming either. But the people that I bring on here, typically their number one revenue stream is streaming. More people than not have said their number one revenue stream is streaming. So
Yeah, I would say to that, to the artists who, I mean, shit, when I was in LA too, I heard a lot, man, Spotify doesn't pay out a lot. These streaming platforms don't respect us. Bro, you probably don't respect yourself. You probably have a couple songs out. You're probably not doing anything with the songs. You're probably not pushing them. It all comes back to me, and I've gotten flack for this before, but I think I might be Spotify's number one fan. They provide me a platform to where Germany's my third most listened to country. I have almost 70,000 people a month listening to me in Germany.
sheesh.
So would I rather be making 100% of the sale of a song, but selling CDs in front of a strip mall? Or would I rather take a fractional portion of that, but have my music worldwide? I'm choosing the latter every time. I'll just put out more music, more quality music, try to up the quality and do something a little bit different every time to keep people engaged and whatnot. I'd rather shoot my shot doing that and have a global audience than be the one guy who is like popping in his hometown and makes a little bit off of music, but there's a cap to that.
Yeah.
So I feel like people are quick to complain, but they don't take the time to think what these platforms, like the opportunity they're providing you. I can upload a song. I could make a song today, upload it later today. I know some people at DistroKid, and obviously like you guys at Two Loss, and I know people at Vidya, and if you know someone at TuneCore, if you know someone, you can get the song uploaded damn near right away, and someone in Poland can be playing your shit the next 2 or 3 days or something like that. So for the artists who are complaining, I'm kind of blunt. I kind of grew up in a household where it was like, you know, wipe the look off your face, get back to work. So shut the fuck up and just work harder, bro. It's not that hard. It is hard to do, but it's not that hard to do if you love doing it. If you're looking to make money off this, go get a job. I worked a normal job for 6.5 years to make money to fund this. If you're looking to just make money off this, go get a fucking job so you can put the money up to make more money off of this. But I know some bum ass artists who are like, man, I'm not making any fucking money off of this, but they're buying designer shit and you know, sleeping on their friend's couch. Bro, that math doesn't add up. You don't take this shit serious enough to fucking complain. Get back there in the fucking way back of the class where you're not paying attention before you want to talk like you're sitting in the front.
Hey, it's not me saying it this time, y'all. It's Ollie.
It's me saying it. Anyone who wants to talk about it can come to me too. I'm not saying I'm balling off of this by any means, but I've put in the work to build something sustainable. This isn't something where it's like, oh, you know, I have one song that's doing well. Thankfully I have people who really rock with me and listen to what I like, songs that I upload, but I built a sustainable business off of this. Like, you got to think like it's a business. You're not trying to get the one hit song and, you know, call it quits after that. You have to keep on coming with this shit, man. Like, people's attention spans, you're here today and gone tomorrow. I release every 2 weeks, so I'm always here. Even if my shit I dropped 5 months ago is gone tomorrow, I'm still here. I got fucking 4 songs on the way over the next 2 months. You cannot get rid of me because I want this shit to last for a very long time. I want to be here.
This is why me and Ollie are tight, because I feel like we have similar mindsets, similar approach to things. You know, I was doing a live with Ray Daniels, and I asked him, I said, you know, what percentage of artists do you think are pursuing music the right way? And we can define the right way in a second. But we both had the same percentage. Like, I've always said 5%, and then he without any, you know, without any prep for the question or anything, he said 5% as well. But in terms of like pursuing music the right way, not to say you're doing everything right, but like, how are how are you pursuing music? Like, what is you say you're dropping a song every 2 weeks, but what does your infrastructure look like, or in kind of day to day?
So day to day, it's all over the place, man. I just started writing more, and I've noticed an increase in idea. It's hard when you're doing a lot of it yourself Now, granted, I do have a team. I have a manager. Even though someone at my level doesn't necessarily need a manager, I want one. And it's also one of my good buddies who's been, supporting my music for like 5 years and some change. It's him and one of his friends. They started their own firm here. I trust them, they trust me, so it works well together. But this is kind of off topic. I think a lot of artists think they need managers when they don't. There's nothing there to manage. Why are you giving up that percentage to someone who's probably not doing shit with the work you're giving them anyway? So that's a different topic. But my day to day, I mean, I'm trying to write more. I handle a lot of the back end shit myself. It blows my mind how many artists don't know how to upload a song. That is crazy. That is wild. So if something goes wrong, then you just
What do you mean? What do you mean they don't know how to upload a song?
It's like a lot of artists aren't uploading their own songs through Two Loss or DistroKid. They have some other guy doing it. So if something goes wrong in that process, they don't know what to do to go into the portal or hit anyone up or how to make a cover art or anything. I've always made my own cover arts. A lot of my days are spent now with my buddy Jack, who goes by Good Harbor. He's him and this other guy named Jimmy Hooks are my two main producers. Jack also mixes all my music. So if I'm not sitting in on him, like, making the beats and whatnot or structuring them, I'm mixing the songs with him. I mix them to a certain extent on my end. I export the Logic file. I send it to him. We've been using this platform called Muse, which is basically what we're doing now, but is specifically made for, producing and mixing. So we can share screens. It's pretty cool. I mean, maybe I sound kind of like an old head, but it's cool that I get to take control of his screen from me. I live in Tennessee. He lives in California, and make edits live, even though he's halfway across the country. So that's what a lot of my days look like. Other than that, I try to get outside as much as possible. I try to run. I've been golfing recently, but yeah, on the music business side of things, it's a lot of just seeing or really sitting in my room and thinking what more I could be doing to do it differently than the next guy coming up. Like we were talking right before we started this. Like, I've never ran ads on my music before, and I'm running my first ad as of today. And I've seen a lot of artists just go straight into the song when it's an ad, but we try to add a little hook, a little intro to this one just to test it out. If it does well, cool. If it doesn't, my girlfriend's a videographer and photographer. We'll go out and shoot some more stuff. That is also clutch. Get you someone close with the camera. Bro, I was waiting for years to have someone close to me with it. And I don't know where she's like, I'm going to pick up photography, and then got into video too. And I was like, yeah,
there it is.
Yeah. But that's what the day-to-day looks like. It's kind of all over the place, but I guess there is like an overall structure. But when it comes to what you said earlier, like what does doing it right look like? I think you can't go wrong with consistency that works for you. It's different per artist. 2 weeks, a release every 2 weeks works for me. I'm used to it. I've adapted to that lifestyle and that way of thinking. But for some people, it's a release every month. I don't think an artist should go this day and age 2 months without releasing. And to some people, you're gonna be like, that's crazy. It also depends what genre you're in. If you're making like radio pop records and they take forever to produce, maybe 2 months works for you. But like, I don't want to hear a hip hop artist or anyone who like is even remotely close to that hip hop realm, because I'd still say like I'm in like, if there was a Venn diagram and it was like hip hop and pop country, I'm right in the middle of that. So I'm still in this world and I'm still in that world a little bit too. But with BeatStars and how easy it is to just download a beat and rap over that shit, a home setup is not that expensive. Like, stop buying all that dumb shit that you spend money on and invest in a home studio. I got my mic right here. Is right beside me. So whenever I want to get an idea out, I'm firing that shit up and I'm recording whatever dumb ideas come out of my head. And that dumb idea, my second biggest song, or my third on Spotify right now, I wasn't going to put out. I sent it to my buddy Colin and I was like, yo, what do you think about this? I don't know if I'm going to put it out or not. He's like, bro, this shit goes hard. Upload that. I put it out. Has over 8 million streams now. So I think find what works on a consistency basis for you. Pair up with a producer, build a relationship with a producer. Like me and my buddies Jack and Jimmy, we I started posting on Instagram and just calling our collective Mountain Pop Studios because they're as much of a face of it as I am. Like they're cultivating the sound with me. But those are my guys. We're talking every day that they've come to be two of my really good friends in this. So we FaceTime all the time. We talk outside of music. We actually have like a friendship in this too. But they know me as much as I know them. So whatever they send me, I know it's going to be some heat. And we're like having a relationship and someone who wants to build your sound and believes in you. It isn't just someone who's like sending you one-off beats here and there, and then you're going to the next guy and then the next guy. Like you, to me, that's something that not a lot of artists talk about. But if you think about it, all of the major artists have that one or two or three producers they work with: Drake, OVO 40, Boy Wonder, and a couple other people. Fucking Post Malone, Louis Bell, and now this guy named Charlie Handsome, a couple other people probably. So they all have these producers who know their sound so much they could take a little bit of work off of you as the artist, and they can step in because they know you so well. So I would say find some producers and engineers who believe in you and can build with you. Find a schedule, basically a schedule of consistency that works for you, and never sleep on the quality of your music. Like always make sure if you are playing a Drake song or a Morgan Wallen song and your song comes on next, the girls aren't going to be like, bro, turn this shit off. Who is this? They want to be like, man, keep this shit on. It's kind of cool. So
Dope. Nah, man, I think that's why that you're able to do what a lot of independent artists are not in terms of the consistent quality, because you have a team. I haven't met them, but they seem to be just as dope as you on the production and engineering side as you are with the lyrics and the song structure and things like that. So there's a consistent quality. I want people listening to this to check out Ollie's catalog. And obviously music is opinion based in terms of what you like and what you don't like, but hopefully people can hear the quality from one song to the next. That's what I heard when I started listening to your music. I was like, I mean, I like every song, but I can see how every song has a certain quality to it.
I respect that.
Nah, that's dope, man. What do you think? What do you think's missing, or what are you working on? What if you were to pinpoint one thing and be like, okay, if I do this or this is missing, like what is it?
I think what was missing, which I'm actively working on right now, is my presence on social media. I think I've also done that backwards too, where I have 35,000 followers on Spotify. So people want to tap in and hear what I have going on next. Getting followers on Spotify isn't easy. Like for someone to be like, I like this guy, I want to see what he has next. Boop, follow. I don't even follow some of my favorite artists, which anytime I realize I don't, I'm like, okay, I'll shoot him a follow. But people don't necessarily know what I look like. Like there's been a few people that message me and be like, no way you're the dude who, this is your song. I'm like, yeah, that's me. Well, why do you only have like 7,000 followers on Instagram? I'm trying to change that. But I'm just like over the past year, I'd say, and really over the past couple months, I've kind of eaten a piece of humble pie, and I've been focused on trying to post every weekday on Instagram, one or two times a day on TikTok, and just be myself, man. It's I've had a lot of people say, and by a lot, I mean like a couple of my close friends, but I don't know too many people, but I've had enough of them say, like, bro, you got to get your personality out there. But when you're pointing a camera at yourself, it's hard to be like, I'm just going to be me. Yeah. Film. Like it's, and you don't really get that unless you just start doing it. But I think once you continue to do it, it's a lot easier to be yourself in front of the camera. And so I think I'm getting to that point now where I can point a camera at myself and be me and not be like, okay, this is a little awkward. Now what's missing, I've never worked with an artist who, I don't want to say never, over the past like 4 years-ish, I have not collaborated with an artist who has a different and larger fan base than myself. So my focus now is to to work with, I mean, because at the end of the day, it's a business too, but I'm also really picky with my taste. I would never do a song with an artist just to do a song with them, especially if I didn't listen or was a fan of their music. Like my catalog, I don't work with a lot of people for a specific reason. I have like a curated taste. So the people who actively listen to my music, I'm not saying just like the random people who listen to a song or two, know that if I work with someone, they're stamped in that Ollie approves of this person. He's a fan of them. I know why this song is in his catalog. So there are a couple artists who I have on my radar who I really would love to work with over the next year. And I think I'm at a level musically, even though I'm not verified on Instagram, that you get to the bottom of the bucket. Just you got like, remember I said go sit in the back of the class. I got to go sit in the back with everyone else. When I hit these artists up, they just don't see it. But the music industry is very small, and
Right.
once you get to a certain level, oh, I know that guy. Send me the song, bro. I'll shoot it over to him. That's my guy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, bet. Now, will how well do they actually know that guy?
Right.
You know, people be saying, especially in LA, like, oh, I know him. All right, bro, you were like across from him in the club like one Saturday 3 years ago.
Hey, we gotta sit down and put together a plan because I have a lot of ideas that could fix this, and I've said a few of these before. So in terms of collaboration, I think it's finding somebody that makes sense musically because you have 700,000 plus monthly listeners, right? There are artists that have the opposite problem, right?
Yeah.
They have huge socials, but maybe aren't streaming as well. I think that's how you have to present it to certain artists. That's where you get the swap and really get to help each other out. So to me that's one thing. The other thing is you guys are cultivating kind of a new sound in this mountain pop. There should be content created around this, whether it's you, a combination of you and the people that are help cultivating this sound that are kind of telling the story of how you guys are doing, what this sounds like, what this represents. There should be I believe every artist should have a branded content series that comes out on a consistent basis, right? So whether that's weekly, every other week, whatever, you have an in-house videographer, it's easy for you to shoot content. So there's a branded content series that can tell that story and loop in, more about you and your running and things. I think there's a lot more that you could do with the running piece too, because I'm sure that there are running communities that you can authentically tap into. I've told you about this before. The other thing I think, I know you probably don't put out every song that you make, right? But you can do your own version of like on the radar in between releases, right? And
Dude, I'm sorry to cut you off.
hey,
It's funny you bring that up because when I did that, bro, I was shitting bricks. I was so nervous because I found out the day before it was live vocals. I was like, bro, no way. So went in there and didn't do too bad of a job. I was like low key, like getting real down on myself because I thought I did a terrible job. But Sav was in there shooting videos and taking pictures of me and stuff like that. And I told her, like, when I saw the videos at the end, I was like, I kind of want to do this to my own songs. Like, I have a fire mic. I actually think it's in the case that I got one of those C stands where you can do the hanging mic thing from. I didn't know how people hung the mic, so I just looked it up, and there was one video of a guy like, oh, this is how I hang the mic. I got a C stand, so got one of those, and I want to start doing my own like kind of on the radar type things because there's a guy who does it. I think it's called From the Block. Have you seen those?
I haven't.
Oh, bro, like it's usually that's how that guy Four Bats, I'm pretty sure, went viral. He just pulls up to people's neighborhoods and he sets them up, and they're all different too. And I watched a video yesterday on like the idea behind him. He originally was going to do From My Block, and then he scrapped it, and he's like, well, I don't want all of them to be like, if you're not from the hood, then you can't do it. So I'm just going to do From the Block. And you know the artist Ian, who's been blowing up recently?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, okay. So he did one from his, and he was just like at a massive dinner table with his family, and they're all eating, and he's at the end of it with the mic there, just rapping in front of it.
Yeah.
And it looks a lot different compared to Four Bats, is where he's like shiestied up in the ski mask, and all of the goons are behind him, but he's singing. So people for some reason love the hang-in mic performance or anything live, even though 99% of the live takes are just the song. People still like to see the artist doing it because there's no headphones on, there's no pop filter, but people
Yeah.
don't give a fuck about that. And
Right.
so we actually are, we've been playing around with it, and I do want to start doing that. So we're on the same
Yeah.
wavelength a little bit. 100% agree with you with the series too. My someone who I've been working with on the branding side of things, he asked me, he's like, yo, are you doing anything with the mountain pop stuff? And I was like, I want to do something, but I don't necessarily know what direction I should take it. And he's like, well, there are a ton of artists who like want to start their own sound, but they go genreless and they never put a name on it. And everyone who I've said the name mountain pop, I'm not kidding you, bro. Everyone, they go, that's a cool name. I like that name. And
Yeah.
so I think that's a great idea. And that's definitely something I'm going to talk to Shorty about and see if we can start like a weekly thing, because like I said, I'm getting to that point where I'm more comfortable in front of the camera. I can just be myself and don't feel like I got to act. So that's a really good idea.
Yeah, or even if you did it, I mean, and obviously, you always want to be telling the story that you're trying to tell. So even if it is similar in terms of like a hanging mic, but what's the backdrop? What is it called? Like everything should reinforce mountain pop and Ollie Joseph, whatever pieces of you that you want to, share. But to me, I think that, eventually one of those will go, you know. But yeah, we anytime, bro, hit me. We should just be tapping in more anyway, because I feel like too much time passes, and I just kind of see the Instagram post and I see you running. I can't run like that, man. This cat runs like 11 miles, 12 miles a day is like nothing to him. Like,
Yeah, I just did 8 before this. Right after I'm about to go do the rest of my 4.
damn, yeah. See, my knees hurt watching your Instagram videos. So yeah, that's not for me. Where did you get the running? Like, where did you pick that up from?
So I grew up skating and playing soccer. So you run a lot. I think the position I played in soccer, you run on average like 5 to 6 miles a game. So I've always ran, but when I ended up having something kind of called Osgood-Schlatters in both of my knees going into high school. So I didn't play soccer in high school, but a doctor told me I could potentially run out of it if I just, you know, start running a ton. And so I did cross country my sophomore, junior, and senior year. And I didn't like it at all, but all of my best friends did it. And it was fun as fuck going to practice with them. And so like the memories I had there were a lot more fun than the actual running. And I don't necessarily I like the feeling after running. Bro, most of the time when I'm running, I'm like, I cannot wait till this shit's done.
Yeah.
But I've done it on and off. Like through college, I didn't run a lot. I did towards like my senior year and whatnot, and then I got kind of big. And running has always been what I use to lose weight, but I fluctuate a lot. Like right now, I'm getting back to like what I think I should be, but I really hope I don't reverse that and go back to being big, man. I'm tired of being a big back. I'm leaving that eating shit in the past. I'm trying to be as active as possible, but running to me, where most people can, when they say like meditation, they're sitting in silence and doing all this. Running is when it's just me going one direction. I'm checked out. And I think a lot of my song ideas on runs too. So it's just some me time I can get where I'm benefiting my body and it's alone time. So it's like, it's probably the best thing that I can do during the week to kind of like regulate my mood.
Yeah, nah, I think there's something more there that you can do with the running in terms of, the music or visuals or content. I know you post like your Instagrams and things like that, but I definitely think there's more there. You mentioned earlier in our conversation, you said you have 70,000, is it monthly listeners in Germany?
Yes.
I mean, that's because a lot of times artists will be like, oh, I got 1,000 monthly listeners in Chicago. That means I could do a show there. Monthly listeners don't equate to ticket purchases. Trust
For
me.
sure.
Very,
Yeah.
very, very few of those 1,000 might pull up to the show, but 70,000 is a different number.
Yeah.
I don't know. You say you just signed with a booking agent. One, how did you find the booking agent at this point, and then kind of what is the plan going forward in terms of shows?
Yeah, so they reached out to us because they like the tunes. I'm pretty sure this is how it goes. I hope I don't have the story wrong, but I'm almost positive they reached out to us, and they're a very boutique agency. There's only 3 people over there, but when we had the meeting with them, the lady who runs it's been doing it for a long time. She's super cool, and she seemed like a really hard worker. Where the only thing I asked is if we're bringing anyone in on the team, you gotta believe in me, and just like when I'm not in the room, not in me, believe in the project. And when I'm not in the room, just go as hard as you can for me. That's all I ask. Like, yeah, we might not get every opportunity, but at least you stepped up to the plate and you tried your hardest. And like a day later, she's, pitching us for supporting acts and stuff like that. So that was really cool to see and reassuring. But that's probably the next step, is hopefully getting a supporting act gig on someone else's tour, just to get out there and get the experience, and get in front of, someone's established fan base. I know whoever that artist is that I'm paired up with, I know I'm going to be bringing something to the plate, though, because I've, over the past couple of years, even for Germany, for example, not kidding you, in the past month, I've had like 6 people from Germany, bro, love from Germany. When are you pulling up? I don't care if just those 6 people pop out. If I could say I did a show in Germany, I still look at this as like someone who's just making music from their bedroom, man. This is like, I'm living my dream right now. So if 6 people from Germany pull up in a show, I'm fucking perform. I'm dropping the worldwide shows. I have to. But that's the next step, is seeing the people who care. And it's one thing to listen to the tune. Super thankful for people who take their time out of the day to play me in a sea of artists where there's insane amounts of choices of music to listen to. Mm-hmm. And then to see to take that next step and pay your hard-earned money to come and see me live, which I always do my best to keep tickets like very affordable, because I know like there's been plenty of times where I didn't have it like that, but I wanted to go to a show, and if an artist I like is coming through and the tickets are like under $30, I'm like, bet, I'm there. But if they're like 100, I'm like, fuck, I can't go. I wish I could, but I'm not going to be doing like, I'll probably be doing like 100 cap, 200 cap rooms to start off with, like the smaller clubs, that's still a ton of people to me. So hopefully I'll be able to do that. But yeah, that's the next step, is probably a supporting act, and then eventually, do my own smaller headlining run.
So if you can snap your fingers and just open up for any artist or collab with any artist, like who is that person right now?
If I could snap my fingers and open for anyone, I would say, and the artist Mike, his fan base shows me a ton of love. Like they're another fan group that has just kind of embraced my sound, and I've never met Mike before. I know people who know him, but I've never collabed with him or anything. But his fans still are able to find my music somehow, where we're not even in the same algorithm. I'm not in his fans also listen to or anything, but they find my shit. They show mad love to me. And so I think that would make a lot of sense. I'm also big on like, does this make sense? Yeah, that would make a ton of sense. I think an artist also named Quinn92. Do you know who that is?
I don't.
He's dope. He's from Michigan. He graduated a year ahead of me at Michigan State. He's a little bit more pop than I am, but I think that would just be a fun time, because, we're 2 Michigan guys and went to the same school, and he seems like just a super down to earth, normal guy. So that would be fun too.
Dope. Well, cool, man. I guess we'll end it with, I know you have a pretty positive outlook on things, like you're doing well. But if you were to change one thing about the industry and just how it is, like what would you want to change?
I would change how social media following is basically weighted compared to listenership. Because in my eyes, I would care more if people are listening to me as a musician than looking at me. Right. But it's flipped. Now people care if people are watching you opposed to listening to you. You can go to most people who are like viral TikTokers or Instagram musicians and see that they're following, like they're getting engagement on social platforms, but no one's listening to the music they're putting out. But
Right.
that's the music industry this day and age. And so I would probably change that. But I also get where it's at. Like I get why that's a thing. And I'm also here to even, I'll bitch about certain shit just like anyone else, but I'm not gonna use that as an excuse to not do it. Like I'm trying to grind it out on the social media front too and provide people with something that's worth watching and not just like posting just to post. Because that's another thing I'm tired of hearing about is like the people in the music industry, oh, just content, content, content. It's just meaningless at this point. Like
Yeah.
just posting shit just to post for the day. Like
Yeah.
there's no care that goes into it anymore because it's just a piece of content at the end of the day. So that's what I would probably focus on changing and kind of get back to like the meaning and quality of the music. Like to me, 2014 to like 16, when the social media crossover with streaming was happening, was a sweet spot. Like music would, bro, you cannot tell me there's another better summer than summer 16 for music dropping. And, you know, when Fetty Wap was running the radio and all that. Now, I'm not like a big like radio. I don't even know who fucking listens to the radio anymore. But I think there was a time when social media didn't exist and it was just the quality of the music. And it was also a lot harder for an artist like myself to join into the game because social media didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a nice crossover where like artists like Russ, you know, were taken off. That's who. Let me go back to the touring thing. Russ is another art. He's my favorite artist, one of my favorite artists of all time. It's who I base my entire business model off of. I'm gonna go kick myself in the ass after this for not mentioning him once in this interview. He's who I look up to the most by far. And then now I feel like it's just social media. Like no one gives a fuck about the quality of the music at all. Not no one, but you get what I'm saying. And so I feel like hopefully the pendulum sways back to that crossover where they can kind of live symbiotically. But that's probably what I would change.
Dope. We'll see if we can get Russ's attention with this.
Let's
Well,
do it,
man,
man.
this has been a great conversation. It's always great catching up with you. I appreciate you saying things instead of me saying things so that people ain't coming for me. They'd be like, hey, Dane, what do you know? What do you know? Like, I'm
Yeah.
not working day to day with an artist anymore, but I'm connected. Like, I'm seeing artists come through the office all the time. I'm hearing stories. I'm talking with artists. Like, I know how different artists are moving. So, you know,
I've said this off camera, and I'm happy to say this on camera, even though you didn't ask me to say it. Even when I said this to you before, you were very humble in the way you received me saying this. But I remember telling you like there has not been a lot of people who look out for me at all because I'm not owed anything from anyone. I'm not owed looks. I'm not like I have to get that shit myself. But you have always from the years I've known you looked out for me. Any chance that you get to mention my name in a room, you do it. To throw an opportunity my way, you do it. And it if anyone questions you about some shit, fucking send them to me. I'll stamp and be like, bro knows what he's talking about, man. Because there are a lot of people who are just talking out their ass. But you've ran a successful label. You're successful with what you're doing now. There aren't a lot of people who are in your position that can actually give game, but back it up and be like, dude, check my reputation, bro. I'm stamped. Don't fucking. I mean, question everybody, but don't question me too much because I know what the fuck I'm talking about. So he knows what he's talking about.
That I appreciate that, man. And speaking of game, we have a new event that we're putting together. Two Losses putting together in partnership with Ray Daniels. It's called Game from the Gods, not GODS. It comes from Ray Daniels' podcast, The God Show. It's GAUDS. It's goats and underdogs. So hopefully we're bringing it to a city near you. We're starting off in Atlanta, DC, New York, and Philly. So that'll be in the first or second week of October, first and second week of October. So make sure you tap in. It's going to be fun. It's not going to be your average music industry conference. There's no panels, just live interactive sessions. Well, again, man, this has been a great conversation. What are your socials? Is it biology? What's your
Yep.
yeah?
Yep, it's at BYOLLIEJOSEPH by
Cool.
Ollie Joseph.
We'll put it in the description. We'll put it in the frame. So again, this has been another episode of the Independent Living Podcast, where you hear directly from independent artists that are killing the game, building their businesses. Until next time,
Man, thanks for having me.